Hi everyone, today Madison and I will be analyzing the film Food Inc.
Food Inc. examines the harmful production of the food industry and exposes it to be harmful and abusive to both animals and the environment.
Food Inc.'s mission is to show consumers the truth about what they are eating. Many people do not care about what they eat, where it comes from, or how it is made, but Food Inc. shows consumers why they should care. They want to change the narrative so that eating meat is not something that is looked highly upon, but something that is unanimously considered unacceptable.
Food Inc. challenges destructive ideologies. They urge people to eat vegetarian and eat from local farms in order to help reduce their impact not only for the environment, but also for your health.
Food Inc. frames food production, specifically meat production, as one that harms not only animals and workers, but also the environment and consumers. The film helps persuade consumers to care about the issue because they show how it directly affects them. Food Inc. knows that most people are naturally selfish and will do what is most convenient for them. So by showing the harmful effects of consuming meat from mass production factories, people will be more conscious of where they are getting their food from.
There's always been food poisoning. As more and more technology is being applied to the production of food, you would think it would be getting safer, not more contaminated. But the processing plants have gotten bigger and bigger. It's just perfect for taking bad pathogens and spreading them far and wide.
The recall of frozen hamburger now includes 22 million pounds.
Enough meat to make a fast food hamburger for every adult in America is being recalled.
In the 1970s, there were literally thousands of slaughterhouses in the United States, and today we have 13 slaughterhouses that process the majority of beef that is sold in the United States. The hamburger of today, it has pieces of thousands of different cattle ground up in that one hamburger patty. The odds increase exponentially that one of those animals was carrying a dangerous pathogen.
The film educates people on the environmental and personal health problems that are a result of mass factory production. For example, the film explains how E. coli outbreaks are common in meat factories. Meat becomes contaminated during slaughter when infected animals' intestines or feces come in contact with carcasses. This is a problem in big meat factories because they often do not follow the correct regulations in order to ensure safety, because the company's main goal is to make money.
Chicken, tomatoes, lettuce, even apples. These big fast food chains want big suppliers, and now there are essentially a handful of companies controlling our food system. In the 1970s, the top 5 beef packers controlled only about 25% of the market. Today, the top 4 control more than 80% of the market. You see the same thing happening now in pork. Even if you don't eat at a fast food restaurant, you're now eating meat that's being produced by this system.
Food Inc. does a great job using metaphors to shape their argument. A strong metaphor used to show the framing of the system that is meat production is referring to the cows as business opportunities, and their goal is to make the most money with as little regulations as possible. The film shows hundreds of robotic cows on assembly lines going into factories to be killed and sold by only 5 companies that control the market. This explains how farming has turned into an industrial process.
I understand why farmers don't want to talk, because the company can do what it wants to do as far as pay goes, since they control everything. But it's just gotten to the point that it's not right what's going on, and I've just made up my mind. I'm going to say what I have to say. I understand why others don't want to do it. And I'm just to the point that it doesn't matter anymore. Something has to be said. It is nasty in here. There's dust flying everywhere. There's feces everywhere.
Food Inc. uses interviews from farmers to encourage the use of identities that stand up for what is right. In the film, a lot of farmers were willing to show their farms, yet after the companies visited them, they were no longer willing to show the conditions the animals were living in. However, one farmer thought that people should have the right to know how their food is made.
This one farmer exposed how horrible the living conditions were for these farm animals. Not only were the animals not able to walk, the farms were so densely populated that the surrounding land and the people that lived there had no other choice than to be victimized by the effects of runoff chemicals, waste, and other harmful byproducts. Not only to mention that farmers and company relationships is a metaphor, being that farmers are slaves for the company and feel like they have no say in how they run their production. In the food industry, we have now come to the conclusion that keeping food fresh and tasteful is a very high priority for consumers. In recent years, scientists have been able to manipulate food traits in order to better appeal to the public. Companies have now turned to engineering our food in order to modify aspects of the food to enhance flavor and lifespan. Using the term engineering frames the production of food as unnatural. Companies are trying to turn food production into a machine-powered business. They talk about food like they talk about factories. Food Inc. brings light to the food companies' destructive ideologies and urges us to make change. Many people have been taught since a young age that meat is an essential protein for our body. In health class, we are taught about the basic food pyramid, in which a portion of the ideal diet tells us we should have 2 to 3 servings of protein a day. The problem with this is that these pyramids give us little options for different proteins, in which most are meat. This teaches our culture that meat is a quick energy source rather than looking at the food as a once living animal. Food Inc. highlights our society's positive evaluations of meat by showing the appraisal patterns often used when describing people's beliefs about meat.
Many people are uninformed about how food is produced and where it comes from. Food Inc. informs people but also frames the story in a different light. They bring up how every aspect of factory farms negatively affect the environment in some way. They are able to support their framing with interviews from doctors, ecologists, and nutritionists. The food industry wants to keep how they produce their food a secret, because if consumers knew what they were eating, it would lose their customers. Food Inc. does a great job transforming the way we look at food production and the environment.
Most people might not connect the two together, but in fact, industrial farming is one of the top 5 causes of global warming. The film ends with an inspiring message of how we can make change even against these powerful companies. Every time we buy something from the store, we are voting for local or not, organic or not. Consumers have the power to change what grocery stores carry. The film ends with a message: buy from companies that treat animals, workers, and the environment with respect.
The solution is as simple as buying from local sources and not big-name companies. However, it is not that simple. If a family only has $5 to spend on food in order to be fed, they have to buy the cheaper option, which unfortunately is either fast food or products these big companies sell in stores. The truth is that healthy food is more expensive, so in order to actually make change needs to start on the policy level. Our market needs to be where whole foods are cheaper than processed ones.
Regardless of our socioeconomic standing, we must fight for a change in policies in order to take down these harmful factory farms and switch back over to organic farming practices, not only to help the environment, but also the healthiness of people and animals.